What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz. It is Thursday, April the 6th, 2023, and in today's glass half full video, we're going to talk about a stock that is down 69% this week and how the CEO of the company, somebody I've engaged with many times on Twitter, not only just gave me a veiled threat, but demanded that I apologize for spreading false information. Not only am I going to refuse the latter, but I'm actually going to give you a glass half full version based on 30 years of experience as to why the stock might actually go higher. All that and more coming right up. All right, I need everybody's help. Like, comment, share everywhere. The first hour, and this is going to go live somewhere around 2 o'clock. It's coming up on the noon hour. And before I forget, yes, I see TRKA at 26 and change. It's probably going higher. Might even go 27, 28, 29 today. I don't know. But I'm going to need it higher than that in order to pull the plug. But if you're up 20 or 30% or whatever it is, and you want to lock in profits, I can't hold it against you. All I can say is that TRKA, MMAT, and MULN, the three horsemen that we currently have after we got rid of you know what, has put us in a much better position than we were just a few days ago. With that said, I'm going to start off with a couple of minutes directly addressing Sal, the CEO of MCOM, and then I want to spend the bulk of the video actually going through what I believe took place in the pre-market when they had the stock goosed up over 30% at one point, and then in the first minute alone, 3 million shares of stock or thereabouts traded. That's more than twice the average daily volume. Would have been 150 million shares under HLBZ, and why I'm convinced, and I'm waiting for something in writing, preferably with lawyer letterhead, Sal, to deny that you or anyone at your company, including Yorkville, had anything to do with a single share of stock that traded today. We're waiting, and we're probably going to have to wait much longer than most of us expect. With that said, I would like to thank my mother. Rest her soul. As some of you know, she died in 2015. I was her oldest boy. I was a mama's boy. I got a beautiful sister, a year younger up the street, 3 younger brothers, 2 in New York, 1 in Denver, Colorado. And she talked me off a ledge because 2 hours ago, after I read what I perceived to be a threat, and I'm going to share it with you right now, I was livid. And as some of you know, I can be a bit of a bull in a china shop. I felt like I was being challenged, and them's is fighting words. But let me just share it with you, and you decide what this is all about. Quote, and this is from Sal, CEO of MCOM, formerly HLBZ. Quote, it's insane to see you, which is me, spreading fake news, one of the biggest bulls in the last 6 months in the stock, like this about MCOM and me. I'll respond this time, but I won't engage with you further unless you apologize for sharing false information. Let's focus on the facts and respect each other. End quote. Well, since you brought it up, Sal, let's focus on the facts. In the pre-market this morning, the stock was up over 30%. At one trade I saw personally, $2.97. I shared a post in the 260s and said, will it hold? Who knew? But lo and behold, as we got to 9:20, 9:25, about 5 or 10 minutes before the open, it started to collapse. And in the first minute, and I'd be glad to have my lawyer, maybe even yours, get on a conference call and share the fact that about 3 million shares traded hands in the first 60 seconds. And just to give everybody a glimpse as to what that actually means, post-reverse split, 1 for 50. There is, as a matter of public record, about 5.5 million shares of MCOM outstanding. So if you're going to trade 3 million shares plus, and it's north of 4.5 million at noon here, East Coast time, that's 60% of the outstanding shares in one single minute. I have been in this business 30 years, half as a stockbroker. I can guarantee you that was not a naked short. It was not a panic selling from retail. It was, in my opinion, and this is absolutely no guarantee, this is my opinion based on a very long track record of experience in this business. And don't go anywhere. I actually think it's possible, whether he and I ever speak again, that this is a setup for what's to come. I have seen time and time again institutions, investment bankers that have got stock they have to issue, aka dilute. They and or their buddies will get in there in the pre-market and goose the stock. They'll trick the dumb retail money, get them all lathered up in FOMO that something must be happening, because you may have seen last night and up until now, it's been respectful dialogue between Sal and myself. He said, as a result of last night's video, that he has access to what's called non-public information. In other words, something is about to happen of significance, and therefore, based on the conversation we were having, he is unable to buy the stock. Hence why it's down now 70% this week alone. The average investor owns it, and this is public information that we shared last week, at $16.20. So on paper, at a minimum, your average investor, Sal, is down 95% or more. Myself, in upwards, I would estimate, of 11 million followers on Twitter, about 1,000 people have lost 70% of their money this week alone. So they goose it up. Whether it was one institution or not, I wasn't watching Level 2 at the time. Maybe some of you that work can step into the comments. Was it one particular market maker that was goosing it up and bringing it down? I didn't get a chance to see that. But I'm almost, I can't use the word guarantee. It's my opinion, and I can't stress the word opinion strong enough, that Yorkville, who again is their upwards of $70 million credit line, which translates into dilution of millions of shares of formerly HLBZ and now MCOM stock, was in there playing with it in the pre-market. And then 5 or 10 minutes, here comes the kaboom. They had a number, whether it was 4 million, 5 million, or what I think was somewhere around $6 million, aka 3 million shares of stock, they had to get rid of. So they drive it all the way down to, I think the low on the day was 201, last trade 206. And it's been here for the better part of the last couple hours. And I'm willing to bet that by the time this video goes public at, let's say, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we're still in the 210 area or less. Why? Because you just witnessed one of the largest, nastiest, most tone-deaf, vicious dilutions in the history of the stock market. You would think a guy who's running a company who, again, I was a bull on. I think micro mobility is a home run in terms of branding, keyword, etc. In fact, last night I shared that I think they should go after Lime, Li.me, one of their competitors. They double or triple the size of the company over the night. And if you look at my wall, I have been a bull with that green fucking circle pinned at the top of my profile now for the last several months. But today it's now a red. And the reason for that is simple. It's not just because I got challenged by Sal. No. I witnessed one of the most reckless use of shareholder capital / value in 30 years. I have never seen, because if you do the math, ladies and gentlemen, and we're keeping it simple, stupid, this is 4 cents a share under HLBZ. Why on earth would anyone dilute of such a massive magnitude, which again, there was only 5.5 million outstanding in terms of shares, and it traded 3 million in the first minute. It's almost traded the entire outstanding shares. Do not fucking tell me, you punk. I hear you, Ma. Do not tell me that that's not dilution. And if it's naked short, come out in writing. This is what we want to see. Very simple, Sal, because you keep dodging the truth. You keep using this naked short war, as far as I'm concerned, scam to hide behind the excuse as to why your stock is in free fall. And I know tons of other people that I speak for, we've had enough. So here's all you have to do. And I want to see it on your lawyer's letterhead. And if you want to do a conference call with me and walk through it, fair enough. You know where to find me. But I want to see you say the following. I, Sal, and or anyone at MCOM, including our investment banker, Yorkville, had absolutely nothing to do with a single share of stock that traded on this day, Thursday, April 6, 2023. Put it in writing. Show us in writing, on legal letterhead preferably, that you had nothing to do with 3 million shares that traded hands in the first 60 seconds of the market. I guarantee you're not going to do that. You know why? Because you were in there diluting the stock at the equivalent of 4 cents a share. And it was almost, as far as I'm concerned, like pouring salt in everybody's wound. It's not bad enough that we're down 70% this week. No, it's not bad enough that the average investor, based on what's called the VWAP, at $16.20 has virtually lost all their money. But then you have to come out there and it's not about me. I don't give a shit if you block me, sue me. By the way, if you do, I'll be ready. Let's just leave it at that. It's all about everyone else. It's the people that I brought into it, the ones that I held hands for. Do you know how many folks that I talked off a ledge because of something stupid that you said? I would venture to guess hundreds. Just go on Discord, Reddit, StockTwix. I would say 97% of the public hates your guts. It's not because of your willingness to engage, which I've said on multiple occasions is very admirable. I'd rather have that than dead silence. I respect that. But today is the last straw. So let it be known, there is a red circle at the top of my profile. I do not recommend at this point anyone, whether it be myself or anyone that follows me, buy the stock. If you do so, as far as I'm concerned, you're really entering a dangerous situation. It's very possible at this point the stock's going to fade into oblivion, and I'm going to have to, along with many of you, take a significant loss on paper. I see TRKA's getting close to 27. Again, it may go higher, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just say that we're coming out of the ditch. With or without this fucking stock, MCOM. We're coming out of the ditch. Things are going to get better from here on out, but I do not recommend, if I can't say it clear enough, anyone buy any more shares. We're all down 60, 70, 80%, at least on paper, and that's assuming you're still in it. And by the way, while I'm at it, I don't blame you if you dump. In fact, I sold a stock whose name will go unmentioned last week. I took over a 50% hit. I'm going to need it if we continue to see moves like TRKA and many others, like we currently own MMAT, MULN, if I haven't said so already. But I sold the stock in large part because the CEO of this company, not Sal, is a felon. He was arrested in November for running another company into the ground. And shame on me for staying in that. So if you're someone with ethics, if you're someone who can look at these tweets and say, you know what, as sexy as the story is, and it is sexy, and as much as I respect the idea of having a greener world, scooters, e-bikes, etc., I can no longer do business with a guy like this. I can't blame you. But if you believe in the stock, or you at least want some hope, stick around, because from here on out, I'm going to give you a glass half full version on MCOM. Once again, I ask you, please like, comment, share. Even if you want to say that I'm full of shit, that's fine. It helps with the algorithm. And once again, Sal, put it in writing. Say that you, your company, Yorkville, had nothing to do with all this madness we're looking at today. Put it in writing. Not one share was sold short, not one share of dilution, not one extension on the credit line. Put it in writing. And then I'll say, you know what? I will say I'm sorry. If you put it on legal letterhead, ladies and gentlemen, for the record, put it on legal letterhead that as of this day, April the 6th, you had nothing to do with shorting and or diluting MCOM, whether it be you, your staff, or Yorkville, and I will apologize. Glass half full version on the stock. And again, this comes from experience. I've been trading 30 years. I was a broker for 15. This is a cutthroat business. It is a nasty, motherfucking, in your face, bend your ass over the desk with no lube whatsoever business. I have seen many, many times, and again, I am not saying this is the case with MCOM. I can certainly have an opinion, but I have seen many times where an investment banker who has to dilute the stock wants to do so in what's called strength. Get the stock goosed up, in this case in the pre-market. Get the dumb retail investor who must be, maybe the merger Jason said with Lime or BRDS is coming, and it may. I better get in the stock. 250, 260, 270, 280, 297. And then 5 or 10 minutes before the open, here comes the boom. And it not only went down, but it stayed down. Last trade, 207. And I'm going to bet you it's probably not going any much higher than that for the rest of the day. That is not panic selling. That is not naked short selling. And by the way, if it is, I would get ShareTel on the phone Share Intel, on the phone right now and say, we need to record every single share of stock that was traded today because someone sold 3 million shares short, wrong. But let's say it was the case. You're talking about a locked up, head your ass to jail and hand over 7 or 8 figures worth of fine to the SEC, Sal. But that's not what happened. Somebody is diluting massive amounts of share. And I think we all know who that is. But why is it possible that this is actually a good thing? Well, let's assume that Yorkville has associates in the business, and they've convinced them one way or another that this is a great opportunity. And let us not forget that Sal said last night he had access to non-public information. And it was me asking him, why aren't you buying the stock? We're down 50, 60, and now 70% or thereabouts in 1 week since you dangled a carrot in the earnings release saying that something big, transformational, etc. was coming. And because we didn't get out at that point, because I was one of the biggest bulls, we just got kicked in the balls to the tune of minus 70%. But it is possible in this business, which again is ruthless, that they wanted to get the stock down to a level, let's say $2 a share, where they could not only issue $6 million that they're going to need for general corporate purposes, but they're getting somebody, institution A, institution B, and for all I know, and I've seen it happen before, Yorkville could have diluted the stock and actually be back in there buying some of it back right now. But my guess is, and this is a guess, somebody they know, maybe it's Sal, I don't know. Come out and tell us, Sal, and put it on legal letterhead so we know it's for real. But someone associated with Sal and or Yorkville is in there buying the stock. Because if there is non-public information and they are about ready to do an acquisition of Lime, of BRDS, or of some other sort, like I've talked about all week, and they're going to scale this up from a $10, $15 million company to a $50 to $100 million company, you might want to own the stock at $2.03. So while many of you are sitting there going, why the fuck did I get into this thing? Why did I listen to Jason and or Sal and lose 60, 70, 80% of my money? Well, you may have done so, at least today, at the expense of some other greedy SOB who wants to get in the stock before we all find out what this non-public information is. Because if they do come out, and this is an if, and they do roll up an acquisition or two, and it's accretive, like I've said repeatedly, then yes, this is the equivalent of 4 cents a share. We were just 12, 13 a week ago. It's still the same HLBZ, and wheels rolled into MCOM, which is the retail division of the company. But because I got challenged to a fight and demanded to apologize after what I consider to be one of the most disrespectful uses of shareholder capital in U.S. fucking history, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna be no buy-in, ain't gonna be no apology. I hear you, Mom. So in conclusion, I feel bad for those that are stuck in the stock, along with yours truly. It's only one of a half a dozen names that I own currently, but we're down big. My average is $5.08. So I probably own it better than most of you. But you're going to have a gut check with yourself, your family. Ask yourself, do you want to be in business with a guy like this? Are you willing to look the other way on someone who's obviously passionate about what he does, but has said some of the dumbest things we've all ever seen? And there's no one that's going to convince me that we didn't see, now as I'm looking at it, the entire outstanding shares trade in less than 3 hours, unless someone was blowing out of a huge amount of stock, aka dilution. And as I said about 5 minutes ago, if I'm wrong, and I can see it on lawyer letterhead that they and Yorkville and no one they're connected with had any ounce of involvement in today's trading, Thursday, April the 6th, I'll apologize. I'll say, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, this must be one of the biggest naked shorts in U.S. history because this is not retail. You don't trade double the average daily volume in 60 seconds by someone getting out of the stock. No way. This is dilution. And if it's not, and I'll give about a 5% chance to that, and I can see it in writing, that way we can all go to our lawyers and get with Share Intel and others and say, who was in there doing this morning? Prove to us it's not Yorkville or someone connected with Sal. And then I'll apologize. But as of this moment, just after noon, I do not recommend you purchase the stock. I am a seller on rebounds from this point forward. But as I just said, I have seen time and time again where they'll wreck shareholder value because they care nothing about you. It's all about greed. Get as many people as they can in and around $2 a share after they just raised $6 million, which is going to help with general corporate purposes. I don't know, for the rest of this year, and then come out with a "see, I told you so." I told you so. I told you we got stuff that was going on. And you know what? At that point, I will be happy. Not for Sal, but for you. You, your friends, your family, my followers that will be dug out of one nasty motherfucking ditch. And until next time, always remember that I love you guys, and thank you so much for watching.